What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, founder of the Sports Court, joined here by none other than a cancer survivor, a coastal Carolina alum, and the Sussex County Miners GM himself, Justin Ferrarella. Excuse me. What's the last name? I'm sorry.
Ferrarella.
Yeah, I meant to say that before the interview. Totally passed my mind. But Justin, thanks so much for joining the show.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And I know coastal Carolina had a pretty good football season this year.
Oh yeah, we had a great football season. You know, they've always been good, but this year, you know, they just continue to get better, and you know, with Coach Chadwell, you know, they're coming along. So and it looks like a lot of the players from this year are returning for another year, except for 2 or 3 guys. So it should be a fun upcoming season for them as well.
Yeah, the Mullets themselves. So we mentioned before, you grew up in Wayne, a town I'm quite familiar with, and you're a diehard baseball fan, and also played some basketball, I know, in high school. But from a young age, I know you obviously wanted to play, but did you ever think about getting into the business side of the game?
Here and there. I mean, it was interesting. You know, everybody has that dream, right, where they want to play for the Yankees. They want to hit a walk-off home run in Game 7 of the World Series, right? But you know, it doesn't set in until some things happen or you know, life happens. And I've always been intrigued by the business side of things and how it works with you know, the financial aspect and how everything develops on the field. So I'd say yes. You know, I always thought I'd kind of be on the business side of things when the baseball playing career was over.
Yeah, and I like interviewing people on the business side. I interviewed Jesse Cole, which was my first baseball interview, and he's great with that. You know, he's down in Savannah, Georgia, and he's obviously making a bunch of headlines. I know they just did this guy on the stilts, so it's definitely intriguing and interesting to interview people, because all we see is the people on TV, the people hitting the ball. You never really hear about the people off the field pretty much and doing the dirty work to get those people on the field to actually play.
That's right. Jesse's actually like a mentor of mine, somebody I look up to. You know, I talk to Jesse a lot here or there. You know, he pretty much every season he sits down, takes some time to talk to me about the upcoming season and what's going on, and then I listen to his podcast, Business Done Differently. You know, and that kind of just sparks a lot of the ideas that come to my mind and how we run things here. So he's definitely somebody I look up to.
Yeah, well, same here. I'm always watching his 1-minute boosts and stuff. It's really really inspiring. But you're very inspiring as well because, as I mentioned, you're a cancer survivor. And senior year, you just graduated and you find out you've been diagnosed with cancer. So just describe to me, because I know that's got to be huge for a young kid. I'm a freshman. I can only imagine what hearing that is like. So describe what's going on in your mind as you heard that you're diagnosed with cancer.
So you'll find out in a couple years, you know, when you're getting ready to graduate high school that, you know, at least for me, I mean, I felt like I was Superman. You know, nothing could hurt me, nothing could stop me. I was fearless, you know, and I was an 18-year-old just living life, getting ready to go to school, getting ready to go to coastal Carolina, start a new chapter, was going to enjoy the last summer with my friends. And then actually in June, the middle of June, I went to orientation down at coastal. I got home early, went for a run, and then I actually collapsed in my driveway and crawled into the bathroom. And then that's kind of when I really realized something was wrong and kind of had one of those oh snap moments. You know, we were actually just talking about this the other day, my brother and I. You know, I came down from my bedroom after a game, and you know, we were making jokes, and he said, "Well, you should probably get yourself checked out." And you know, I was a stubborn 18-year-old. You know, and again, you know, thinking you're Superman, it can't happen to you, and that's the last thing you think. And you know, I didn't want to go to the doctor and have him say, "Hey, this is you you have, let's say, a hernia. You know, you're not going to play. You can't play baseball this year. You got to have surgery right away." And then we were playing our crosstown rivals. That's kind of when things transpired. And I just remember being at work after we went to the doctor. My mom called and said, "Hey, you know, tell your boss you got to leave right away. You got a doctor's appointment we have to go to." And even at that point, I wasn't thinking anything about it. And then, you know, because all the blood work, well, not the blood work, but the doctor's appointments leading up to that checked out well. They didn't think anything of it as well. And then, you know, Dr. Sanzone said, "Hey, I was wrong. You're having surgery July 1st. You know, you have a tumorous cancer and cancerous tumor, and you know, we got to take care of this right away." So.
Yeah, that's crazy, and you know, I'm glad you're okay and everything. So it's always good to get checked as just everything. But it's definitely crazy from that moment to what you've done now. You're very young to be a general manager of a professional sports team, so that's why I was so happy to interview you. And yeah, that's absolutely just a crazy story. So I have a bit of a two-parter for you now. You attended Coastal Carolina, as you mentioned, and graduated in 2015. The nice, warm, sunny Coastal Carolina, up compared to New Jersey. The New Jersey weather can't make up its mind for itself. But anyways,
Definitely can.
yeah. So, what was your experience at Coastal Carolina like? And then right after, you got a job for your uncle working for the Sussex County Miners. So, what did it mean for you to get that job right away? And was it ever your plan to work all the way up to GM, or was it kind of just see how it goes now? So.
Yeah, well, we'll start my time at Coastal Carolina. It was awesome. It was hands down probably the best 4 years of my life. Just met some incredibly great people there. Dr. Brian Button, is big baseball. He was, he was running our fraternity. He was our advisor for our fraternity at the time, and we got really close. And then the connections I made, I met my wife at Coastal Carolina. So. That's again one of the best 4 years of my life for that reason alone. But the baseball team was great. The football team was getting going, and the school as a whole was just growing so fast and whatnot. So I made a lot of friendships, and it was just awesome to be there and be on my own and kind of just be in that environment. I think the environment itself was great for me. And then to kind of find my way and kind of figure out what I wanted to do, and baseball saved my life, right? So people always talk about finding your why and what you want to do, and here I am, and things kind of just lined up. My uncle's like a second father to me. He's means the world to me, and to be able to be part of the family business and watch what he's done over the last 40 years with his family and running his family business. It's been absolutely incredible. So things just lined up where, things were happening here, and next thing you know, here I am, 2015. I graduated college. 2 days later, I'm working, and then September 11th, I'll never forget. 2017, I get the phone call from, I think my mother called, or somebody called her and said, "Hey, open the Herald. Justin got promoted." I didn't even know, and it was awesome. Carl Barbatti wrote a great article in the New Jersey Herald that day, and I have a lot I want to accomplish. It doesn't just stop at general manager. I never thought I'd be here, but. I have big dreams. Tell everybody I have big league dreams, and that's where we're going, and that's where I hope to be one day. So
yeah, well, everybody and all the articles I read have high praise for you and said you can definitely be there one day. And I know you're a big Yankees fan, and judging by the way the Yankees have been playing so far, maybe we need you. A few losses, I'm kind of shocked right now, but yeah. So in your first season, just to backtrack a bit, you're one of the most well-respected guys in the clubhouse, and at this time you're the operations manager. You had a great relationship with manager Bobby Jones, who's from New Jersey, played in the big leagues. So what did having such an important role for this team at a young age teach you for what was yet to come in your career?
So from the baseball side of things, I learned a lot from Bobby. Bobby kind of took me under his wing. I was young. The operations role, it was get your hands dirty. That was one of the first things my uncle said to me. Don't be scared. Always ask why. Get your hands dirty. So whether it was doing stuff on the business side or literally getting my hands dirty on the operations side and kind of acting as the liaison between the baseball side of things and the stadium side of things, that gave me great exposure to what's going on. And that allowed me to see all the moving parts of the business, and how things work and whatnot, but I couldn't do it without the staff that's here and the culture that's been built around here. And, that kind of happens. So, when you're young, 22, 24 years old, you can't use your age as an excuse no matter what. You just gotta do it, and let your work speak for yourself and keep your head down and don't worry about what people are saying and really work. And I think that a lot of that comes from my two older brothers. I'm the youngest, so I'm how the youngest
I relate
is.
to
It's
that.
just you gotta pave your own path sometimes, and that's what happened. Going to school at Coastal, I got to go far away from school. They really didn't. I've always been unique, always had my own path, but you kind of just got to keep the blinders down and just keep rolling through things. Another roadblock, just get over it. I beat cancer at a young age, so that always pushes me when things get tough. I kind of think back to that, and just get over those hurdles. So operations was great. It's kind of the foundation of what you have to learn other than sales. I mean, foundation of learning the ins and outs of it. And then you can kind of see how the operation thing kind of rolls into the sales aspect and a lot else of what we do around here.
Yeah, and for people wondering, because obviously we said your uncle owns the team. He said everything you got from the moment you joined was all through hard work and, just straight up persistence. And I love when you said you didn't even know you were going to be the general manager. You found out in a newspaper article, in the New Jersey Herald. So that's crazy to me. And can you talk to me about that time and that story about how you found out you're general manager? Because I just find that absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so actually Carl Barbati, who wrote the article, he's the sports editor at the time. He was just, he just wanted to talk to me. That's kind of, Carl and I have built that relationship up over the years. And, we were just, I didn't know why I was getting interviewed. I knew nothing about it. And then a few days later, my uncle was sitting in the office. Carl called him and was talking to him. And then, again, September 11th, this article comes out and, here it is. And to me, I tell everybody it's an ongoing joke with my wife. If we go out to eat or somebody talks or we start talking about what I do for a living, I tell people I'm the janitor, but, that's just who I am. I might have the title as a general manager, but, we do anything and anything you have to here. It's just what has to be done. And being general manager is great and everything, but when it's time to get your hands dirty and get into the thick of things, we do it too. It's pulling the tarp. It's all an effort here. So, there's a lot of titles in baseball and in the sports and entertainment industry, but to me, it doesn't really, it doesn't matter. Again, everybody does everything here, and that's kind of the mantra. Everybody gets their hands dirty and digs into the trenches together, and that's the whole team and family atmosphere of what we have going on here.
Well, I think that goes hand in hand with the name Miners, so I hope that,
right.
But minor league baseball and minor league sports as a whole, because I'm a big soccer guy, so there's obviously too many soccer teams to even count. It's just crazy around the world because it's the biggest sport. But baseball as well, I know just so many teams. I'm a big Lakewood, Jersey Shore Blue Claws guy because that's near me. What's the biggest misconception about minor league baseball?
Well, independent ball as a whole, I mean, as in indie ball, people thought for the longest time that independent baseball was just a beer league of just washed up players that wanted to play for 2 to 3 extra years, right? I mean, especially when we started here, that was the whole thing. And now look what happened, right? Minor league baseball loses 40 teams, and why? Number one. Number two, it's not the case. Some guys, there's people pitching in Major League Baseball now that came out of indie ball, right? I mean, we've had guys here over the last 3-4 years. We've had 10 plus guys signed. They all started here in indie ball, right? This offseason, we've had 2 guys signed. So, in independent ball, that's definitely the biggest misconception of independent ball, at least. But here, everybody says it's the family fun entertainment. Well, okay, then prove it. What are you here for? It's not just a ticket sale. It's not just this. But when you step into our ballpark here at Skyland Stadium, it's a unique atmosphere. We're built in the middle of a cornfield. For a stadium that's 26 years old, it's in great shape. There's something special about what goes on here. And, when people leave here, they leave with a smile on their face. I'm always saying hello and goodbye to people at the front gate before and after the game. And, it's just building that special memory. So, it's more than just baseball when you're here. I think that's, to me, again, going with players being in a beer league and more than just baseball, I think that's kind of the biggest misconception. Everybody wants to pin on it, but what are you really doing to focus in on what you say here?
Yeah, and that reminds me of what Jesse Cole said, because I know you're a big fan of his and he's your mentor. He says it's always somebody's first game, so you always have to act like that, and you always have to make sure that they know to come back pretty much and have a good time. So that's huge. And for a young kid, you've accomplished a lot. And I'm saying young kid, I'm 15, but you know what I mean. So for someone young in the sports industry, you've accomplished a lot. You won championships. You've put on literally a holiday show. So you've done a lot for 27, 28, what is it?
Just turned 28.
Yeah, so still very young. I've got cousins older than you, so that just, it's crazy. So what's been your all-time favorite memory so far with the Sussex County Miners?
Um, there's no one specific memory, right? But obviously winning a championship is great, right? Number one, I mean, winning the championship is great. Who doesn't love to win, right? Nobody loves to win more than I do, but being around the guys, being around our fans, we have the greatest fans in the world. I know everybody says it, but there's just something special about the people of Sussex County and the people that walk through the gates here. But for me, it's, somebody said a long time ago, and this is something I'll never forget, the Miners won't last 3 years here. We heard it from everybody, right? And they said, 2 teams failed before you. You guys aren't going to last. It's, how long are you here for? That's all we got, the first 2 years. And, it was from everybody, players, fans, you name it, that's what they said. And then in 2019, after one of the games, the group umpires came. They called me into the umpires room. My first reaction was, "Oh, great, what now?" And then they said, "Hey, kudos to you, your ownership group, your staff here. What's been done here since 2015 has been absolutely incredible. The crowds that are coming here, the fans that are coming, the promotions and everything that you guys are doing. We would have never guessed it in 100 years with everything that happened prior to being here, or with what you're doing, and teams that have been around for a long time in the league. You guys are doing A+ things, and truly that's what we strive to do here. So what those umpires said that night, I'll never forget it. That's probably my best memory of being here."
Yeah, it's amazing, and definitely kudos to you for everything you've done. And opening day is quickly approaching. It's May 27th, so obviously we're living in a much different world nowadays. How are you approaching and attacking this 2021 season in terms of fans? I know Governor Murphy is allowing a certain percentage of fans, about 20 to 25%. So what's the Miners' plans in terms of fans back in the ballpark?
Yeah, so I mean, we're just going to monitor what he says, and take it case by case, right? So we don't start until May 27th. Home openers May 27th. By that time, hopefully the restrictions get lifted a little bit more, and we're just going to continue to do what we do here. I think 2020 was a tough year for everybody, myself included. And our fans stuck by us, our sponsors stuck by us, and we had a great year. And I think people they have the itch, right, to get out. People want to see live sports. They want live entertainment. We're outside, so I think we're going to do a lot better than some people expect for a sport and entertainment venue, just because of the itch, and people want to get out and they're feeling more comfortable than they were last summer. And I think we're in for a good year here.
Yeah, same here. I can't wait to watch sports again, and hopefully I can go up to a Sussex County Miners game. So it's definitely.
Well, you're a Red Bull fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a Red Bull fan. So
you're a Red Bull fan. The Red Bulls they open up the home next Saturday. So
yeah, I know. I actually funny story. I had press credentials to a Red Bulls game, and they said I broke the system because I was 13 at the time. And I go there. They don't say to put your age down on the sheet, so I'm sure you're aware, because obviously you're a general manager of a sports team. So they don't say to put your age. I put my website. They allow me in. It's not like they checked any of my work. If you checked it, you would know I'm my age. So I go there. They think it's for my dad. I'm like, no, it's for me. And anyways, I got to interview Tim Howard, which was pretty sick because they were playing against the Rapids. And yeah, that was definitely a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, good for you. Good for you. That's awesome. And I got to be honest, when you first reached out to me, I was very surprised. I couldn't believe it. Only 15 years old and you were doing this. I mean, you're light years ahead of definitely where I was at 15, and I'm sure most people your age. But just the way you handle yourself. I mean, you're a true professional at 15, and that's something you should be proud of. And
yeah, thank you.
And definitely take with you of everything you're doing. Trying to grow yourself and trying to grow your brand. I mean, if you were old enough, I'd hire you right now.
Well, I appreciate it, and that's about all the questions I have for you. And I just want to let you know, actually, my next interview most likely is going to be with Grayson McCall of Coastal Carolina. So I'm in touch with him. So hopefully that happens. And the Mullet Man himself. So Coastal had a great season. I loved watching them. I was pretty high on them the whole season, and nothing's better than that blue turf they have over there.
Yeah, that turf's something else. They, I couldn't believe it. When they were 4-0, you always believe in the chance. They're the cardiac shots no matter what happens. Baseball, no matter what sport they're playing, baseball, football, and then they started reeling off some wins, and my friends were texting me and saying, "Hey, your football team's the real deal." Especially teams that are in Power 5 conferences, and everyone started believing. And when you believe, you get behind it, and that's it's big. I learned that at a young age. When you get a team that can band together and play together, like we did in 2018, even in 2019. Those are the teams that win. They might not be the teams that have the most talent or the highest recruit or anything along those lines, but the teams that can bond together and get through all the adversity and help each other and pick each other up. Those are the teams that you see as you watch. They'll persevere. They'll get through anything. They'll win the games. They'll win the one-run games. They'll win the overtime games. It's a pretty unique thing to see. So.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what matters. Like the Toronto Raptors, no one predicted them to win a few years ago. And right. I know with the Coastal Carolina, I watched that BYU game, and that was like, I'm a Notre Dame fan. So Notre Dame Clemson, amazing game. And then the BYU Coastal game, Mormons versus Mullets, that was probably, it's 1 and 2. Those two are interchangeable for the best games of the year. And that was one of the best football games I've ever watched.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. And they definitely were. Let me ask you a couple questions. You got time, or you got to run?
I'm good.
You're good. All right. Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you want to do? Do you know where you want to go to college? Do you want to go to Notre Dame? What do you want to do?
Well, you're definitely pulling a Jesse Cole on me. That's exactly what he did. Yeah, I can, but I do want to go to Notre Dame. That's obviously the goal. Syracuse too, because of just the amount of people that went there within the sports media industry and like doing pretty much what I do, sports broadcasting. And Syracuse is definitely number one for that, but definitely Notre Dame or Syracuse, and you just got to keep up the grades, and hopefully I get in.
Yeah, that's awesome. How are your grades?
Above average. I'm not gonna say they're like all A pluses, but pretty good for the most part. And just trying to, especially with online school, because I'm all virtual. Just gotta. Oh, it's so hard to pay attention to class sometimes. You always gotta keep that in the back of my mind, like, hey, I want to be in college, but I know freshman year. All my brothers say it doesn't matter, but end of the day, I still gotta grind and get some good grades.
Yeah, exactly. How many brothers do you have?
I got 3 brothers. I'm the youngest of 5. The youngest of the 3 brothers. So I'm 4th out of 5 because I have a younger sister too. But yeah, I know what you said when you said you have older brothers. You especially when you're the youngest, listen. You're pretty much the prop. They do the things. You have to do the things they don't want to do, and they just put you out there. But I guess. My dad is too. He was the youngest. He was exactly in my situation. So, maybe we share that bond together. And I think you learn a lot being the youngest because, being the oldest, to me, I feel like that's so easy. Just you can boss everyone around. But the youngest, you gotta work for what you have.
Yeah. So, and that's just it. Like, family is a big thing, right? My father passed away a year ago this week, and my dad always said, we don't have the best of everything. We just make the best of everything, and the best things in life are free. That's, and he said that because he meant that for his boys. His thing was my 3 sons. He loved my mother to death, and he loved all 3 of us. And, we just made the best of it, and that's, so the whole family thing, when people say, what I learned from my father and what I learned from my uncle about family and how important family is, like, Sunday dinners, it's a thing. It happens. It's not just in a movie you see it, but it happens. And, my father ingrained that in me, and now to be able to do that, I'm pretty thankful for that. But you're absolutely right. I always say if it wasn't for my brothers, I'd be 6 feet in the ground already. But I vicariously lived through them, and I have 2 of the best brothers in the world. They kept me on a straight path, those 2, and it's awesome. But that's they groomed me to play baseball, and that's why. I tell them that I was better than both of you put together at baseball because I learned from the best, so in order to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? And that's, you learn from them, but you also learn, it was study habits from them, and anybody will tell you I was not a student in high school, and I don't know what happened when I got to college, but I just turned it on, and, my work ethic comes from them, it comes from my parents, and, you learn a lot being the youngest, and you'll see it, right? I mean, you said it, from playing sports to doing what you're doing, and it's pretty good. How'd you start doing this?